unlock that difficult fat loss situation. Today we're going to talk about breakfast. We're going to talk about skipping breakfast and how it might not be the best practice for fat loss. If you're storing fat and just can't seem to unlock that storage container, we're dysregulated. Dang it, I hate it. I hate it when that happens. Unlock that difficult fat loss situation. Let's continue the pursuit to menopausal and perimenopausal fat loss. The holidays are here, and it just seems it's almost impossible to continue with fat loss, continue to stick to your diet, and do all the things, right? Not necessarily. What if we could eat a little bit more, or a little more often? I'm continuously surprised at the studies coming out, the studies that are looking at our past protocols, our past practices, giving us scientific evidence that maybe what we did wasn't as good as we thought it was. Dang it, I hate that. Today we're going to talk about breakfast. We're going to talk about skipping breakfast and how it might not be the best practice for fat loss. I've said it before, if you skip breakfast and it's working for you, disregard this information. If your weight's where you want it to be, if your belly is flat, if you're feeling good, you've got energy, then please keep doing what you're doing. That's important. You do you do what works for you, and I'm talking to you if you're searching. I'm talking to you if you're menopausal, perimenopausal, with belly fat. If you're struggling with a slow metabolism, if stress has got you beat, if you're storing fat and just can't seem to unlock that storage container, stick with me. We're going to talk all about ways to get unstuck. We're going to talk about leptin. We're going to talk about insulin. We're going to talk about food. This might be a key for you. Unlock that difficult fat loss situation. You've got this. My name's Connie Rutledge. I'm a functional nutritionist. I'm a fat loss specialist. I love helping women just like you solve your fat loss problems. Keep that weight off. Get your energy back. So let's talk about breakfast. For years, I decided I could forego breakfast. I could fast until lunchtime, and I felt pretty darn good. That worked for me. I lost the fat. I've maintained a healthy body weight. That said, there are many of you out there struggling. Many of you out there that are impacted negatively by skipping that breakfast feeding window. Research says that skipping breakfast equals higher stress, a slower metabolism, and more fat storage. So let's unpack that. Breakfast is a big cue. So it gives your body the signal that your metabolism gets to start moving. If you skip breakfast, the studies say that you're much more likely to stay in a stress first, conserve fuel mode. We don't want that. I'm not talking about eating a 5-course meal for breakfast. We just need some fuel. Your body's been fasting all night. I mean, obviously. You wake up in the morning. 9 studies in 2021. I mean, this was 4 years ago. Why didn't we know this? 9 studies stated increased obesity risks in those who skipped breakfast. Seriously? And 7 out of the 9 studies showed weight gain as a result of skipping breakfast. I don't know. I don't want to believe it, but I just have to share it with you. Because if you've been skipping breakfast and your cortisol has been high, that high morning cortisol, I talk about that when we test our glucose levels. When we use the Keto Mojo, testing glucose levels to see where and how our body is handling sugar, insulin, leptin, all of those things. So they say that delayed eating equals delayed leptin signaling. What's leptin? Leptin is a hormone. Leptin is a hormone that sets your daytime metabolism. It gives you hunger cues. It sets up your fat burning rhythm. Leptin is light and time sensitive as a hormone. So when you delay your first feeding window, you're messing up your leptin signaling. And a lot of times, if that signaling is off, then you're going to have dysregulated metabolism regardless, even if you're doing all the right things. Well, a lot of times you're not able to do the right things when you have leptin resistance or low leptin. All right, that seems technical. What are you going to do with all that information? I want you to understand that eating a proper breakfast, and I'll say proper breakfast could be different for all of us. Eating breakfast will signal, it'll turn on that day mode in your mitochondria. It'll get your body actually burning. It'll rev your metabolism. And yeah, your mitochondria, those little powerhouses in the cell, they have a daytime signal and a nighttime signal. And it's important for you to appreciate that when you wake up in the morning, and I want you to start waking up and seeing sunrise, get outside. I know it's cold, but bundle up, get outside for at least 5 minutes at sunrise. Watch the light with naked eyes. So get outside at sunrise, and that's not too hard right now because the sun is rising later. It's winter. Now it's fall. And for me right now, the sunrise is right before 7 a.m. I'm up much earlier than that. I'm not turning on bright lights in the house when it's dark outside, but I'm keeping tabs on what time it is so I can go outside for daybreak. I can go outside for sunrise and give my cells the information that it's time to wake up. My mitochondria wakes up, my leptin signaling is on point, and I'm able to eat more food. I'm able to have a better metabolism, better energy, and have all those cellular cues that maybe I just didn't know about. So we want to focus on light signals and food timing because that tells our body how to respond. And if we're confusing our cellular body by staying indoors, and you don't have to have bright sunrise, you can have cloud cover, you can have fog, you can have rain, you can have any manner of weather. We get those light codes regardless. Naked eyes at sunrise, that's where it's at. So if you haven't been a breakfast person and you just think, I'm not hungry, why should I eat? Let's back up and look. All right, what was yesterday like? What did you eat yesterday? When did you stop eating yesterday? I mean, I'm a big proponent of intermittent fasting, and I'll never stop saying that fasting is a real tool. But I want to just shift the fast to later in the day. Shift that fast into maybe skipping dinner, which doesn't sound fun, but you can eat a very small dinner, eat it early, and stop eating. Shut down that feeding window, maybe by 6 p.m. You've got a long evening ahead of you now that it's dark early. So it's even more, I would say, intentional to really appreciate how important it is to get all your nutrition, get your macronutrients, get that protein, get that good quality fat, and your carbohydrates in during daytime hours, and shut down that feeding window, shut down the kitchen, and maybe sip on some herb tea, some hot water, and just stay out of the kitchen and don't eat in the dark. When you do this, you're going to improve your metabolism. You're going to activate metabolic genes. You're going to entrain mitochondria clocks, meaning your body's going to know what time it is, and it's going to act appropriately. Nature doesn't make mistakes. We've altered nature with our lifestyles. We're indoors. We're under LED lights. We're in front of the computer and our phone screens. We're messing up the natural sensors. We're messing up the natural sensors that we have relied on for eternity. Nature didn't get it wrong. No wonder we're screwed up and our body hangs on to everything. We're dysregulated. Dang it, I hate it. I hate it when that happens. So let's stabilize ourselves. Let's stabilize our hormones, stabilize our blood sugar levels, and really start to kind of appreciate the natural rhythm so that we can enjoy living in a body that's balanced. When we eat morning protein, yeah, we're going to talk about what to eat, but when we eat morning protein, our thermogenesis, our ability to burn, increases. So what am I doing in the morning? And believe me, this is a huge shift. I do not love eating breakfast. I like that empty feeling in the morning. So what I'm doing most mornings is I wake up and I have my electrolytes and water. I like the Quinton Hypertonic, just about a tablespoon or two in my mouth. It's like seawater. It's like salt water. So it's a really high-powered electrolyte. You could have Soleil water. You could just have a little bit of water with sea salt. And I kind of let that settle because I'm up early. And then it starts to become daybreak, and I like my cup of coffee. So I have a small cup of organic coffee, and that's not ideal because it is revving cortisol, but I seem to tolerate it okay. And I kind of get things organized. About an hour after waking, what I typically do is I use a really high quality protein powder. You've heard me say it. I like Noble Protein. I like Equip Protein. And I take a scoop of that and a raw egg yolk. And I put that in about 4 ounces of strong coffee, maybe a splash of heavy cream. That's my quote-unquote breakfast. I then sometimes have something seasonal, like maybe a half of an apple. Just depends on my hunger cues. If I'm feeling a little bit hungry, I might scramble an egg. I might have a couple pieces of bacon. So my morning meal is pretty darn simple. I'm not eating because I'm hungry at that moment. I'm eating because I know it's going to decrease cortisol in my body. When we have cortisol produced, well, our glucose rises. Our body becomes dysregulated. Our hormones get messed up. Understanding that piece, that's huge. If I just feel like I don't want to eat, then I'll have my optimal aminos. I'll have 10 optimal aminos and maybe a couple bites of yogurt to get those down. So there's not really a breakfast happening, but there is a fuel source that my body's using, and that kind of tempers my cortisol. So I'm not saying to eat a giant meal at sunrise. And let's be clear, get out in the morning, get out at morning light, eat about an hour to 2 hours after waking, okay? Make it a protein forward meal or snack. That's okay. It's going to stabilize your leptin timing. And if you have to start small, fine. But I think that's going to help with that nighttime snacking. I think it's going to help with blood sugar regulation so that you can feel more stable during the daytime hours when you should be eating. And it's going to help with those nighttime snack habits. Because if you're more stable during the daylight hours and you have nutrition on board, then you're not going to be as inclined to do the nighttime snacking. And that's a huge, I would say, a huge gouge to your leptin signaling. And appreciating that, you know what, there's no one size fits all. If you have trouble with impulse control and you start eating that early in the morning and you just can't stop, then maybe there's something more going on. Maybe it's just not your metabolism or your leptin sensing is off. There's a lot of ways to appreciate habit control and getting a handle of that. We do a lot of that in the Jumpstart sessions with clients. Maybe you need a full customization of your diet plan. Maybe you need to appreciate seasonal and circadian timing protocols. Maybe you need to understand what your leptin levels are. And we can order that right off of Fullscript. It's affordable. And if you have had trouble for years and years and you don't know what your leptin levels are, let's test them. Let's get your insulin levels. Let's get a real clear picture of exactly what your body is capable of and where it is now. We can repair hunger cues. We can fix those energy swings and shift hormones to really work in your favor. It's not like you need an exact target of protein, fats, and carbohydrates. You need a guideline. You need evidence. You need support and tools to help you stay on track, help you feel balanced, and like you can actually do this long term. This is not a quick fix. Using these guidelines and the checklist might be your key to success. I mean, you're the one that's doing this. And when you set your mind to it, you can make really good things happen. But it takes effort, it takes a plan, it takes your energy and your stick-to-itness, and it takes commitment. Don't let yourself down. Life is too short to live in a body that you don't like. Take control of your health. Nobody's going to do it for you. Finish the year off strong. If you're curious about the protein powders that I like and the optimal aminos, go to my website, ConnieRutledge.com, click on the resource page, scroll down, and you'll find the links to discount codes. These are amazing products. These are tools that are in my toolbox that I use on the daily. I wouldn't be without them. Check out Noble Protein, check out Equip Prime Protein Powder, and Optimal Aminos. Okay, come for the fat loss, stay for the longevity, and I'll see you next time.